regionalradio.com.
If you've got travel on your mind, the Macon County Farm Bureau has the discounts you want through their Amenity member benefits program. Go to Disney World, Six Flags, Royal Caribbean Cruises, and many others with the Amenity member benefits, plus access Travel Sherlock travel packages. If you're not a Macon County Farm Bureau member, stop by their office on West Pershing Road or call the office at 877-2436 or online at maconcfb.org. The Macon County Farm Bureau is where membership means value and travel discounts.
From the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The news is brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, as well as Connexus, offering fiber internet in Clinton. Click their icon on DeWittDailyNews.com to find out more. And as always, the morning show streams to Facebook and YouTube, courtesy of Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. At the August DeWitt County Board meeting, Highway Department employees and union representatives addressed the board regarding contract negotiations. Board Chair Joe Whitty explains that no action was taken by the board regarding the negotiations at the meeting. They were unable to because it was not a part of the meeting's agenda. He says negotiations with the Highway Department are ongoing and their next meeting is set for early September.
For some context, really the board took no action on anything last night. We had some members of the Highway Department as well as union representative address us during the public comment period, which, they're free to do so. But the board really had nothing on its agenda to address that situation. We know that those negotiations are ongoing. We have a labor attorney who's representing the county and other representatives with the county that, sit in on those negotiations. It's not, all board members involved directly with it, but we do get reports back. And I understand that we're not at an agreement now, but again, we're working to get to there. So that's our focus. I understand the frustrations on both sides, but again, there's really nothing for us to do at this point except for to continue to respect that collective bargaining agreement process and continue to negotiate the table. We've got additional meetings scheduled in September, so I'm hopeful that we'll make some progress.
Whitty clarifies that the union did serve a notice of intent to strike, which is required for a strike to be considered lawful. This does not mean that the Highway Department will strike. However, it does imply that they could.
To be clear, they served a notice of intent to strike, and that's a statutorily required step that the union has to take. They have to serve notice several days before they were to ever be able to strike. So, they're doing what they need to do. It's not an actual strike at this point, and it's just an attempt that they might. What are we doing? We are continuing to support negotiations and work to come to an agreement. We want to make sure that we're doing what we need to be doing at the collective bargaining table where both parties can be heard. And so we continue to support that and have discussions at the board level. In finance committee, I know there was a report, some discussion about how negotiations are going, and so we're going to continue to honor that process. And they took a step that they felt that they needed to take, but at this point, it doesn't change what we're doing. Our goal is still come to an agreement at the table.
The board authorized a 5% raise for the Highway Department last year. Whitty says that now they are asking for a raise above and beyond what they had previously been given. While he values all of the county's employees, he adds that they need to make fiscally responsible decisions.
Yeah, so I don't remember how long their contract was. It was set to expire last December, but there's a provision in there where both parties can continue that. So they're under a contract right now through December of this year, December 1st. We authorized a 5% increase last year, and they accepted that. And so that's the agreement that we have in place right now. And what we are obviously doing is trying to negotiate for a future contract. But they are requesting, an increase above and beyond that 5%. Now, we thought, 5% was a very generous raise, not just for them, but for a lot of our county employees. So, I think of what the current economic environment is. And I felt good that we were able to offer 5% last year. They came back. Their latest proposal is they're seeking an additional 12.5%. for 3 employees and another 14% for 2 employees. That's on top of the 5%. So, their latest proposal would amount to a 17.5 to 19% raise for employees in the highway department. That's down from the original proposal that they had of 21%. So, we value all of our employees. I value all our employees, highway department, those that are in the county building, animal control, but that's fiscally irresponsible to even entertain, a wage increase at that size. So obviously we need to continue to negotiate, but we have mentioned yesterday, we've got a fiscal fiduciary responsibility to the taxpayers and the residents as well. And, something as large as what they are requesting, it's not doable. So again, our goal is to continue to negotiate, come up with something that's fair, and that's what we're going to continue to work towards.
Serious labor law violations were alleged against the county, including not coming in with the intent to negotiate and threatening highway department employees with termination. Whitty has publicly denied these allegations. However, the Illinois Labor Relations Board has opened an investigation.
So I think the allegations were that we didn't come in, the exact violation, phrase or whatever terminology they use. It's essentially that they are saying that we didn't come in with an intent to negotiate. We came in with our original offer and haven't budged. And then I think the other allegation was that we threatened them with termination, which is untrue. So, when there's an allegation like that made, I think they served notice to the Illinois Labor Relations Board. They're doing an investigation and we're preparing our response. But I know that the board's position has never been that, we were going to terminate all employees if they start. We have no position on that. We have a contract in place that has some language about what our rights are, and we reserve our rights under that contract. But our goal has 100% been, let's get this resolved at the bargaining table, and we're not making threats. We haven't instructed our labor attorney to. So, there's going to be the investigation, and we will send in our report with, our evidence, by the date of September 5th, I think was the deadline. So that's in the works. But, my understanding is that the board has not been part of those allegations.
The next opportunity for negotiations to take place is September 5th. The county maintains the position that they are in favor of coming to an agreement. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors.
School is right around the corner. Let us help you get to class in style at Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City. This is Scott Baum. We have a great savings on the entire Chevy lineup, from the economic Trailblazer and Trax to the upscale Silverado or Tahoe. We have you covered. Our used and certified pre-owned cars are getting straight A's also. This school year, see all our inventory online. Chevrolet, together let's drive. BaumChevyBuick.com, right from the start.
Experience the power of better connection with Connexus Fiber Internet. Connexus delivers ultra-fast, reliable speeds to keep you connected at the speed of life. Whether you're working from home, streaming your favorite shows, or gaming with your friends, Connexus has you covered. Say goodbye to buffering and dropped calls and say hello to fiber fast internet. Ready to upgrade your connection? Sign up today by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
News time is 19 minutes after the top of the hour. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Going over the tentative budget is a yearly practice for the Clinton School District and happens during the August school board meeting. Superintendent Drew Goebel explains that during this meeting, they are finalizing the state funding that they receive, like the Corporate Personal Property Replacement Tax, or CPPRT funds. He notes that this budget is considered tentative because there are times when new funding opportunities present themselves.
I went over the tentative budget. So every year, kind of on schedule at the August board meeting, we go over the tentative budget. So at this point, some of the state funding, like the CPPRT funds, we're like kind of finalizing those. Some evidence-based funding, they might be some changes to that. Federal grants, therefore, really throughout the entire summer in June and July, ISBE, Illinois State, there is zero Title II funds, and we use those title funds for class size reduction, and we were going to get $0 in Title II And we've always got Title II dollars. So the tentative budget did not include that revenue, but really within the last week, I got an alert from the state that we will have Title II dollars. So that's why you do a tentative budget to kind of go over some of the things that you know.
At the September school board meeting, they will finalize the budget. Goebel says they have all of the salaries and benefits set, so he has a good idea of what the final budget will look like.
And then at the September meeting, we will have a final budget. And then that's when all those changes, because we know what the salaries are going to be. We have the benefits and then different kind of projects. So I have a pretty good idea, but then from this point on, I will start finalizing those numbers. And then honestly, at the June meeting, at the very end of the school year, we'll do an amended budget because again, there's so many things that are unknown that I do my best to predict, but there will be changes. So at the June meeting, we'll do another hearing, and that will be the amended budget hearing.
Goebel indicates that the major athletic facility upgrades were split between this year's and last year's budget because it rolls over on July 1st. He adds that the high school auditorium work is also included in this year's budget.
Well, the big ones, everyone can see. We have all of the baseball fields, and we've done major upgrades to the football field. And if you haven't seen the big scoreboard, you just open your eyes and look towards the high school. There's a new scoreboard there. So those are some bigger projects. But something that I don't know if it's received as much attention is the upgrades that we've done to the high school auditorium. We put brand new lights in the auditorium and the sound system in the auditorium, and it is amazing. I cannot wait for the first play, a musical, band concert, whatever they have going on in there. Our auditorium is awesome. So that's another major upgrade that we've done for like facilities. We're always trying to, it's something always comes up, a water heater breaks or we need an air conditioning unit change. So we're always doing these little things, but the big things you can just see with your own eyes. Well, the budget rolls over July 1. So the scoreboard, that went on this year's budget because the work that they did was in July. So that's on this budget. And then even the work for the sound system in the auditorium, that was also in July.
The September school board meeting is scheduled for Monday, the 22nd, beginning at 6 p.m. Many school districts across the country are struggling with staffing issues, but that's not the case for one Piatt County district. Mary Vogt, superintendent of Bement Schools, says that the district is in great shape when it comes to staffing. While they did have one teacher retire, they were able to hire a new educator in that role, as well as add an additional kindergarten class to accommodate the greater number of those students this year.
We are in really great shape.
Yeah.
We did not have any certified staff members resign to go somewhere else. What we had was a high school English teacher retired.
Mm-hmm.
And so we filled that spot back in April. We hired somebody for that spot. And then we actually added a kindergarten class because we've seen an increase in our kindergarten numbers. So we're feeling very fortunate in that we had all of our certified staff returned to us, and then those hires were because of a retirement and adding a section. Again, it's knock on wood moment. We're doing great with staffing. In fact, we have one of our high school teachers is going to be out for a procedure, and we already have one of the subs who came on that first day after being, part of that day, agreed to take that long-term leave, just stating that they felt more comfortable after having been through the building and meeting the staff.
Vogt feels that the family atmosphere of the district is a big contributor to staff retention. While she is aware that things may not always be perfect, she has a great staff who support each other and make the school a welcoming place to be.
We talk a lot about just the atmosphere, it is a family atmosphere. Is everything perfect? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
But We have such a great staff who are willing to support each other and be there for each other. Yesterday, some of the glitches, trying to do attendance online for the first time and found out, oh gosh, this needs to be fixed. And it becomes just that, high stress moment, but then being able to remind staff, listen, this has happened before and we got through it. We'll get through it this time too. It'll be okay. Everything will be okay. And so again, just the support for each other is wonderful. Building administrators, Doug Kepley, middle school, high school principal. He's been in the district, I believe 30 years now. Christy Sweet has been in the district. She's our elementary principal. And then our AD, she's been in the district 5 years now. This is my 4th year. And so our staff recognizes they have a strong administrative team that works well together and is here for them.
Students in the Bement School District returned on Thursday, August 14th. Learn more about the district by visiting bement.k12.il.us, or you can find Bement CUSD5 on Facebook. Another big year at the Illinois Department of Agriculture tent in Illinois Illinois Specialty Growers Association farm stand during the Illinois State Fair.
And I am really excited to report that it was another record-breaking season.
Give us the numbers.
So this year we had over 6,818 transactions. Those might be multiple families eating at once, but we're excited to see that. We sold over 4,523 slushies, 790 apple cider floats, 451 ice creams, 920 bottles of water, 423 bags of popcorn, over 1,500 ears of corn, 5,224 peaches, and 383 watermelons. With 190 volunteer slots filled, we had over 665 hours of volunteer time. And at the end of the fair, we donated 2 bins of watermelon and 62 gallons of cider to the Central Illinois Food Bank.
Ragella Scavazzo serves as Illinois Farm Bureau Associate Director of Food Systems Development. USDA's latest look at cattle and calves on feed reveals less inventory compared to this same time last year. Now for your local obituaries. Bruce A. Mandrell, 63, of Clinton, Illinois, passed away at 8:37 p.m. August 16th at his family residence in Clinton. No services are planned at this time. The family has entrusted Calvert Funeral Home in Clinton with cremation rights. Get news anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Hear Clinton Maroon live play-by-play this season on WHOW, the Big 1520 daytime, 92.3 FM in DeWitt County and 106.5 in Bloomington Normal all the time. Plus streamed at DeWittDailyNews.com on the WHOW mobile app and Amazon Alexa. Plus, hear a best of Clinton sports broadcast Saturday mornings at 10, all brought to you by the Clinton Sports Boosters, Liberty Village, and the Clinton Community YMCA.
I'm Len Casper, the voice of the White Sox Radio Network. The Sox are on 92.3 FM in DeWitt County, WHOW.
Sponsored by Warner Hospital and Health Services, Baum Chevrolet Buick, the Clinton Sports Boosters, and the Clinton County YMCA, all in Clinton.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. As of today, some of the 2,000 National Guard troops on the streets of Washington, D.C., taking a big bite out of crime, are armed. And President Trump is considering sending federal crime-fighting resources to other cities, Baltimore, Chicago, and New York among them. Israel stepping up its anti-terror military offensive in the Gaza Strip and beyond, targeting Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels. Then there's a war going on in California. It's a war on wildfires. Amid very dry and scorching hot conditions, firefighters are battling a blaze, a so-called picket fire in Napa County. It's charred more than 7,000 acres so far and has forced evacuations as well. On Wall Street, stock futures in the red. The Dow futures down 131 points. NASDAQ futures off 91. S&P futures down 19. This is SRN News.
With SRN Sports, I'm Jason Walker. Seattle Mariners slugger Cal Raleigh has done it again. This kid is hot. He hit 2 more home runs Sunday. He now has 49 on the season, and in doing so, set a single-season record for catchers, passing Salvador Perez total with the Kansas City Royals just 4 years ago. Raleigh's record-breaking home run also marked his 9th multi-home run game of the season, passing Mickey Mantle's record in 1961 with the Yankees, that for games by a switch hitter. In baseball action yesterday, the Mariners defeated the Athletics 11-4. Elsewhere in the American League, Baltimore 3, Houston 2, Kansas City over Detroit 10-8. White Sox shut out Minnesota, Texas 5, Cleveland 0, and the Yankees beat Boston 7-2. SRN Sports. In the National League, it was Pittsburgh 4, Colorado 0. Philadelphia got past Washington 3-2. Couple more close games. Atlanta 4, the Mets 3, and San Francisco 4, Milwaukee 3. Cincinnati Reds beat the Arizona Diamondbacks 6-1, and the Dodgers over San Diego by a score of 8-2. 3 games in interleague play. The Cubs beat the Angels 4-3, Miami over Toronto 5-3, and Tampa Bay defeated St. Louis. Final there was 7-2. In Women's National Basketball Association action, Seattle 84, Washington 82, Golden State beat Dallas 90-81, Minnesota 97, Indiana 84. And Taiwan has captured the Little League World Series, defeating Nevada. SRN Sports.
This is staff meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki with your regional radio forecast. Mainly clear skies today with daytime highs approaching 72. Northwesterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies tonight, lows dip down to about 47. Mainly clear tomorrow, highs level off around 72. Hear weather twice an hour or online anytime at DeWittDailyNews.com. Right now, 54.
Let's check Ag News on the RFD Radio Network. I'm DeLawes Yonke. Illinois Farm Bureau is monitoring implementation of a recently signed state law that expands electric cooperatives' ability to install broadband infrastructure. The Electrical Service Broadband Deployment and Access Law allows electric cooperatives that receive state or federal funding to improve broadband service to use existing electric easements and road rights-of-way to install the infrastructure in grant areas, subject to specific notification and compensation requirements for property owners. Legislation was signed August 15. The purpose is to improve broadband access in underserved areas and unserved areas by providing electric cooperatives with more flexibility in infrastructure deployment. The Illinois Farm Bureau did not oppose the legislation because negotiations led to certain protections for landowners, including a narrowed use of the law, which is limited to electric cooperatives awarded state and federal grants. Bill Bodine with the Illinois Farm Bureau says members should be aware of their rights under the new law with specific provisions. You can read about those from the article online at farmweeknow.com. Bodine encouraged Illinois Farm Bureau members to reach out to their county Farm Bureau office for assistance if contacted about a broadband project. A linchpin of the farm safety net, crop insurance, is now getting a little bit of a makeover care of the recently enacted Big Beautiful Bill, as our Washington correspondent Matt Kay reports.
Increased premium supports, expanded coverage options, and for beginning farmers and ranchers, extra support on top of the current 10% they now get for 5 years. Risk Management Agency Administrator Pat Swanson.
With the new One Big Beautiful Bill that was passed, we are now being able to extend those benefits for 10 years instead of 5. The first 2 years, they're going to get 15% additional support, and the third year, they get 13%, and the fourth year, 11%. And in the 5th through the 10th year, they will have 10% like they had before.
And for all producers,
we have additional premium support on optional units and basic units, which is when you keep each field separate when it comes time to calculate the claims. And enterprise units as well will also get an additional premium support.
And the improvements will be retroactive.
We are actually making these changes effective on July 1st of 2025, because in the crop insurance world, that is our fiscal year. That's our reinsurance year. And it was important for us as we were implementing this to make sure that we did not cross over 2 different crop years.
Also important for crop insurance agents, so Swanson says they can have accurate quotes to make informed decisions for the fall. For the RFD Radio Network, Matt Kay, Washington.
U.S. Environmental Protection Agency Friday acted on the backlog of 175 small refinery exemption petitions from 38 small refineries